Hello there, welcome to Who Target on YouTube, and this is Alex from Who Target. So hello, how are things going with you all? How are you all coping since the weekend? I thought it was about time I sat down and went through the reality war. Now we've had a bit of breathing time since the quite long but very good episode. Yeah, like a lot of people, I think Doctor Who is much better when it has 66 minutes instead of 45 because it paces itself better. You can get more into it, even though there was an awful lot of stuff going on in this episode. That's why I've had to split it into 3 bits, basically, when watching it again. I've watched it twice now, and I think it works better if you split it into 3 chunks, basically, of the episode. So you've got chunk 1, where the Doctor is fighting back. He doesn't die. He lands up in the Time Hotel from the Christmas episode. And that's a really good twist, because I didn't see that coming. And Astra shows him all the windows and what she's seen through the time. And in a way, there was a Dalek. So there's a couple of Daleks in that episode. So people were saying, well, Ncuti never got an actual episode with Daleks. Well, there was Daleks in his final episode, so there we go. He has had a very small amount of time with Daleks, but it would have been great if he'd got a Dalek or Cyberman episode. And then we go through the different time windows where the Doctor manages to persuade Belinda that she isn't a Stepford wife and that Poppy isn't really Will. And there's great bits where the Doctor gets out of that quite nice but quite boring pinstripe suit and gets back to the more his look of the Doctor, the kilt and the boots and the really tight tops, which look amazing on him. We then get back to uni where he persuades Kate and Susan Twist that they're not meant to be in this. This is not a reality. This is Conrad running the reality. And we then get back to the real world where the Doctor manages to persuade them all to fight against Mrs. Flood, the Rami. We get Mel, who turns up on a very cool, fun thing with the scooter going through the lift and up into the main unit bit. And I love the fact they turn the unit tower into a battle station, like an actual ship. I love those bits with Kate doing the wheel bit like you would on a ship, and they apparently looked amazing in the cinema. I wish I could have got to the cinema, but unfortunately not possible down here in Exeter because there wasn't any with audio description. A bugbear of my life, unfortunately. That's just how it is. So we then get back to part 2 of the chunks. The best way of describing it is in 3 chunks, as I say. And part 2 of the chunks is, in my opinion, the worst bit of the episode. It's the bit where we meet Omegon, and Omegon should have been brilliant. He should have been great. It should have been really interesting, maybe a face-off between the Doctor and Omegon. But no, we have this absolutely ridiculous CGI monster that doesn't look anything like anything like you'd think Omegon looked like. He looked like a mummy what had been extended with a crab, to be bluntly honest. So terrible CGI again, like they did with Sutek, the whole dog thing last year. Unfortunately, it didn't work like it didn't work last year, and that's because it's CGI over actually prosthetics and having a person doing the modelling, I reckon. But I might be wrong, it might have been a person, but it looked terrible, to be bluntly honest, in my opinion. It was like a big crab hand with a mummy attached to it, so not great. The Doctor works out that the Vindicator can push him back into the sort of underworld again and does all that, lots of shouting, lots of music. So not the greatest bit, to be bluntly honest. And then around this, he manages to save Poppy, who apparently is the Doctor's daughter. Now, that would have been great if we had something connected to Susan, but the whole Poppy thing is that Belinda's had a daughter with the Doctor. Conrad's made the daughter Poppy from, him wishing that he'd like one, and because of the wishes can become true, he has a daughter. So that's that bit. We also have Millie being great as Ruby going to see Conrad. He drops into Conrad because he can transport in and out of the realities, and Conrad has a gun, but she manages to change him from shooting her and manages to wish him that he has a happy, nice life, which eventually he does. There's some great bits between Millie and the guy playing Conrad in this, because he wants to shoot her, but doesn't. The Rani's are quite fun. The younger Rani just gets eaten by the Lord of Time. Omegon just eats her. and Mrs. Flood nicks her time ring and makes a very funny joke. I'm old enough to actually get the reference, but I know a lot of people didn't get the reference of the two Ronnies, not the two Ranis, but I thought it was quite funny. She's disappeared, so you never know. You might see Mrs. Flood in the future, but we don't know. Because this has all been settled, we get back to part 3, and this is when it goes up a gear again, in my opinion, in this final episode. So part 3, everything's happy, everything's good. We get to May the 24th, it's all happy, and there's a twist. Poppy fades out of existence because he was a wish, basically, and made from wishes, and this really upsets Belinda, and thanks to Ruby trying to explain to the Doctor what was Poppy, because the whole way through the episode by now he doesn't know who Poppy is, and because she was a wish, everybody doesn't remember her, so she sort of vanishes out of existence, basically. So the Doctor works out that the only way he can get Poppy back is a life for her life, so he's going to throw his whole regeneration energy into basically splitting the vortex and making Poppy come back, because of the way he'll change things. He's about to do this, and wham bam, the 13th Doctor starts talking, and that's amazing. That bit with Jodie and Shute is so fantastic. They're just sparring off each other, and I wish there was more. I wish there was more times with the 13th Doctor. And you're going to see, if just from 2 minutes with under Russell's writing, Jodie was 100 times better. Her character had the bits what were good from Chris Chibnall's. I said Chris Eccleston, I don't know why it's on my mind. Chris Chibnall's time period, but there was a lot of rubbish around it. This bit was great, and I cannot wait to see what Big Finish do with her next month. I must get an order. I want to do a whole, so it just drops into my Big Finish box. So yeah, cannot wait for that. We'll be discussing those over the next couple of months, I think. And then he does this trick, what the 13th Doctor tells him to do, and ends up at a manor house. He's on the ground, everything's fine, and he finds out that Poppy is alive. So you think, oh, that's all going to go great. And then we get hit with another stupid twist, and this is what annoyed me a bit. You find out that Belinda has had a child with somebody else, a random person, not the Doctor. So all what he's just done there has been for nothing, really. And we also find out in this episode the point of bi-generation, and the fact the reason Time Lords do it now is to continue their existence. You know, without this, their species is dead, because the whole lifespan of Doctors are sterile. As he says, you know, I can't have children, so that's what they're on about there. So yeah, he finds out that they're all fine, it's great, and then he knows, because he's stopping the regeneration from happening, and then we have this beautiful bit at the end. He goes back into the TARDIS. He finds the star from Christmas. He finds her and makes sure there's somebody there. He didn't want to go alone. I thought these bits were beautiful. Also made even more stunning by Murray Gold's beautiful music, the beautiful choirs of Wales. I think it was the National Choir of Wales in the background. Just music in this bit is absolutely fantastic, and he does regenerate. We have a nice, normal, mammoth, golden explosion regeneration, which I'm quite happy with, because I think we've had enough of bi-generations. They're not the greatest. The pulling apart thing, it looks good for once. Like, it looked good when we got from David Tennant to Shooty, but the one with the Rani was just stupid, in my personal opinion. So he regenerates. We get the clouds, we get the windows shut. Obviously, they want a new TARDIS set whenever we come back, and lo and behold, you think it's going to be somebody, and Russell just plays your head again and twists you completely, and it's Billie Piper, and the episode ends. And it doesn't say Billie Piper playing the Doctor, so what does this mean? I've been thinking about this, and I've got this feeling she is not going to play the Doctor, or if she does play the Doctor, it will just be for some specials for he regenerates into somebody else. Or I quite like the idea that when the War Doctor touched the moment in the Day of the Doctor, the 50th anniversary special, he still is connected with it. So it's not the Doctor, it's the moment. Who's Billie Piper, of course, played the voice of the moment, didn't she? Or it's going to be her as bad. Well, there's so many theories sprinkling around the universe and the Twitter world, so let me know your feelings here in the comments. Was it a good season? That's another question. This is season 2 or 15. I personally think yes, I don't think there was a bad episode. I think there were some missteps, definitely, and some weren't as good as others. But overall, I think this was a very, promising, good season. And I think the problem is that either Disney have pulled out because we've still not heard anything, and they had to do something. So they spoke to Shooty and went, "Oh, by the way, Doctor Who's probably not going to come back to 2027." And an actor who's, as speedy a star as Shooty is, he's going to be a mega star basically in Hollywood eventually. And he just went, "No, I can't hang around and wait around, not do any work till 2027 while you make your minds up or not." So he left. And now there's all this sort of niceties now going, "Oh, it was always 2 years. It was always planned to be 2 years. Me and Russell were going to do. My knees can't take it." I mean, it's understandable because it is a very physical job playing the Doctor. His knees might have gone. But I think it's more to do with the wait time and the fact you wouldn't be doing anything Doctor Who now, I think, to 2027. And I think, though, they're trailing the spin-off, the unit spin-off, Undersea Over Water. I think they've got the title, and I always pronounce it wrong with the title. That's my title of it. I think that's now not going to be on to next year. I don't think that's going to be on till 2026 now. Just the gap between this season and hopefully season 3, where we find out what the hell's going on with Billy Piper. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Reality War, good episode. It's an in the middle episode because it has good things at the beginning, a bit of a terrible middle bit. So I can hear a motorbike go past. I've got a window open, and end bit really, really good. I like the regeneration. I thought the regeneration bit was beautifully shot, looked good on a good 4K TV, sounded amazing. Wish I could have been in a cinema because I've seen a lot of the videos on cinemas and they all seem to clap and be happy when it moved into Billy Piper, where a lot of the the back kicking feedback you get on Twitter and so people go, "Oh no, it was hateful. Nobody wants Billy Piper," and I think, personally, Billy Piper could be quite an interesting Doctor, or the moment whether she's playing, because she never does a bad role. I've been watching her in the very good comedy, if you haven't seen it, Austin. It is very funny. You need to watch that if you want some good comedy. And she's in that a couple of episodes, and she's great in that. And that's only like a 2-second role. So anything she does, she's great. And so I think if she is the next Doctor, which we don't know, because it's only where we're now Tuesday, so about 3 days since the episode, and nothing's been announced yet. I'm not expecting anything to be announced for at least another couple of months, to be honest. And there we go. So let me know your feelings on Reality War in the comments. It'd be great to get to 30 by the middle of June, or hopefully by July. We're on 27 now, so thank you to the people who've added themselves. More would be great. Hit the bell, subscribe, and hit the like. And as I always say, keep the love, people.